So guys, as you know, dating, marriages, relationships are declining in the West. And a lot of that has been because men are not willing to participate. Men are not participating as much on dating apps as before, or they're finding a displeasure of the results on dating apps. And a lot of men are looking at the dating world and seeing it's not worth it. And marriages with, divorces and child support and things like that, it's just not worth your time. So men are pulling out slowly but surely. But now we're going to have two delusional feminists who are going to try to paint a picture that the opposite is happening. They're going to try to say in this particular video that it's really women who are pulling out and not men. And they're going to make some predictions going forth that in the next 20 years, they expect this particular outcome that you're going to hear today. And I think it's quite hilarious. And if you have some time, maybe if you have like a shot, a Hennessy or something, drink this because it's that funny, literally, to see these, what I would consider middle-aged women predicting something that's not going to happen. So guys, let's get into it.
Here are my predictions for the future of cishet relationships over the next 20 years. History will look back on this period of time from probably 2020 to 2025, but maybe even to 2030, and they're going to refer to it as the Great Divorce or something like that. Maybe the relationship realignment, but the Great Divorce is catchier. We're not only going to see an unparalleled spike in divorces, but we're going to see an unparalleled drop in marriages, particularly remarriages, which are going to fall off a cliff deeper than the Grand Canyon. Right now, cishet men and women are starting this game of chicken, so to speak. As women are just now contending with their unhappiness in long-term relationships, men are right now doubling down. They're trying to call our bluff. They're trying to say, listen, I hear you asking for something different, but you've always complied in the past. So if we just hold the line, if we hold firm, you'll comply this time as well. But what they're missing is that this time is different.
So you've complied in the past. Again, this is silly. Let me tell you why it's silly. Men today are not researching what happened in the past. Men are reacting to today's current environment. And men are not doing that to make women act right. Men have just given up a lot of times, right? Like, okay, there's not going to be any hope, so I don't want to participate. I'm not participating because I want you to change. It's like, no, I don't think it's going to change, so there's no hope, so I'm not going to participate. Or I'm going to go overseas and get somebody else. But again, people say stuff like this without any real proof, but it's okay. Let's get back to the lies.
What they're missing is that this time is different. This time you have a bunch of women communicating with each other and figuring out for the first time that their unhappiness within heterosexual relationships, particularly marriage, is a feature, not a bug. And the only reason we're realizing this is because we're talking to one another. Most of us have spent our entire lives being like, I'm just buggy. Either there's something about me that's not good at relationships, or there's something about the men that I pick. I've got a buggy picker, or, I just don't have the capacity to be happy in relationships. It's a me problem, right? But because of social media and TikTok in particular, we're all comparing notes. And for the first time, we're getting this freedom because we're like, I'm not buggy. It's not me. I'm not bad at relationships. The system that we have set up for romantic relationships is just a bad system. It's a system that was designed for men in times when we didn't have our own economic freedom. And now that's changing, and we want to change the system.
So wait a minute. The system that we're currently in, you're trying to say it's antiquated. So you're wanting to change the system. So this system was meant for men. If that is the case, what about these dating apps like Tinder? Is it even the Christian Mingles things where women are matching a lot and men are not matching at all? But you're saying that you're trying to change the system. Like, you're saying things that are stupid, that don't make any sense to try to prove this argument, to act like women are now going to take some level of agency when women already have a lot of agency. It's men that are having a lot of issues in the dating market, in particular middle class men, because the cost of living is going up And the United States hasn't invested as much in the middle class men to make them become desirable as they have before. So men are being priced out of the dating market because of what's happening with money. And now you're trying to say you're trying to change the system where the system has already been changed in favor of women. What are you talking about? There's nothing antiquated about that.
Most men right now are still holding the line because they think that we're going to come around. They think that if they hold out long enough that, we'll abandon our own loneliness to be with them.
Where the get this from? Like, do you hear how silly this sounds? So if we hold out long enough, I've never heard a man say that. There's no guy on the internet saying that. That's not even anywhere in the red pill community. It's not on Fresh and Fit. It's not Andrew Tate. It's not Kevin Samuels. There's no big creator saying, as men, we need to hold out so women will change X, Y, and Z behavior. Most men are not going to waste their time with a group of women who are not going to change their behavior. A man is going to look for a solution someplace else. He's going to go to where the solution is there. It's almost like shopping in a store. Do you say, I'm going to stay here and not buy the product, hoping you're going to bring the price down? Or do you go to where you feel you get the best deal? Most of us want to shop for the best deal, for the best quality, and for the best price. And if we feel that a store is overcharging us, we just go someplace else to a competitor that's willing to give us a better price or a better service, whatever it is that we're looking for. And that's what men are doing. Hence, #bros. But let's get back to the lies.
Is to be with them. What they fail to understand is we're getting the ick. It's a permanent shift within us as to the way that we view romantic relationships and men in general. We're not going to have to rationally convince ourselves to stay away from those men despite really wanting to be with them. No, we're actually not wanting to be with those men, right? Men will eventually fall like dominoes over a very long period of time. The first group is already falling. These are the men who are in love with their wives and who are generally open-minded, liberal men who are listening to this conversation women are having and who are already on it, who are already changing in order to save their marriages or relationships.
And they're still going to get dumped in the first place. After changing and doing all of that, it's the beginning of the end to a certain degree. Okay? Because a lot of ladies just, some of them don't know what they want. Let's just be it like that, okay? Put it like that. They're probably going to believe that, ooh, girl, you can do better than what you already have, which they can believe it's true. It cannot be true or it can be true. But again, let's hear more of these lies.
Relationships. The second group that will fall are going to be the men who were left by a woman because of these issues, and in their grief and their pain, they will contend with this reality. The group that will fall next are the men who cannot contend with their own loneliness anymore and are willing to try anything, including changing the way they approach relationships. The last group of men, which may be decades down the road, are the men who will have no spaces anymore to go and complain about being a victim, because all of those spaces are now going to be filled with men who are like, nah, man, it's an us problem. Then together, we all rewrite relationships.
What are you talking about? Like, it makes absolutely no sense to rewrite relationships, especially, and there's so many ladies that are liking this, and I can guarantee a lot of these ladies are, and I'm not trying to be mean or anything. A lot of these ladies are going to be women that are, like living in a fantasy land, don't understand men. Some of them could be women that already have children and things like that, and expectations that are out of this world. And I'm not saying that they can't be, a good woman for a man. But again, these are women who are not going to understand what men want. And you want these men to understand you, and you're not incentivizing them to do anything for you. And that's what's happening right now in the world. So you have to make these things up as if these guys are going to go ahead and try to change you or whatever. The reality is this: if men become successful, women will follow that road. That's something that it's in a woman's biology. So there are going to be certain women that's not liking this post that are going to go for those guys, and they're still going to be able to get some attention from those ladies as long as they're doing what they're supposed to do. So all of this stuff you're talking about doesn't make any sense. Now, this other lady's even worse than her, in my honest opinion. And again, I don't have any issues with these ladies at all. I just think that it's quite comical. But hey, feminists gotta do whatever they want to do. This one is a lady by the name of Jeanette, and let's check her out here, okay?
Here are my predictions for the future of cishet relationships over the next 20 years.
Y'all, please go back and watch her entire video. She's talking about marriages and divorce.
Okay, so she's making a stitch to this original video. This lady's name is Jai Nanette. She's even more delusional than the lady before.
She's talking about marriages and divorces and how things will look in the next 20
What does she even have on her head? It's like a kufi or something? Like, what is this?
next 20 years regarding relationships. And I want to piggyback off of her. Like, watch her video, because what she's talking about and what I'm about to talk about are two different things. But I have to go on and tell y'all the truth about what things will look like. A lot of y'all know, if you follow me, you know I'm an analyst. I do it by trade, and I've been analyzing things for years. I saw a lot of stuff.
She's going to be analyzing this with no analyst facts, just dusty predictions that don't make any sense. You're going to find out. Like, again, you're an analyst by trade. I don't know what that had to do with anything. It had nothing to do with the original conversation. Like, why do we need to know that? But it's okay. Like, let's get back to the lives.
For years, I saw a lot of stuff coming. People used to call me crazy, but now they're like, Jonah, you saw it. Yes, I did. But I want to say something about how a lot of relationships will look in like the next 20 years. And some of you will be very bothered by it. A lot of you guys will be very triggered by it. And I get it.
Get to the point.
I love you though, but the truth is the truth no matter what. Who's telling? All right, let's get into it. So within the next 20 years, you're going to see a paradigm shift. A lot of middle-aged or older guys will date significantly, even sickeningly. Is that a word? Sickeningly? Well, if it's not,
No, it's not.
you know what I meant. So that makes it a real word with etymology and everything. But anyway, they're going to date significantly younger women because these girls will be able to be better molded and groomed to become the submissive, subservient wives they want and desire. Because the middle-aged and older women are like, no, get somebody else to do it. So they're going to go to the young girls to get them to do it. However, what men always fail to understand is that everything they do to us, we just flip it around and do it better. They teach us.
What is it that women are doing better right now in the dating world than men are? And can you show any example how it is helping women in the dating market today? Are there any examples that you can prove, Miss Analyst? Of course, you're just, talking out of the side of your neck, which is fine, but let's get back to the lies.
And we learn, honey. Because while they're dating the young girls, it's going to be a whole lot of young dudes available.
Listen to this. This is the funny part about this. Like, this is how desperate she is. Listen to this.
Those young men will start getting coupled up with the older women because that's what you're seeing even now. It's creeping up. It's creeping in. It's like in the background. It's a lot of different channels. I see a lot of different posts. It's not as loud as the older men who want younger women, but it's there, steadily increasing. And within the next 20 to 25 years, after all these older men are with younger girls, everything will shift. And women will start naturally desiring younger men.
Want to know why they're going to start desiring younger men? So they can control them. Isn't that what you want? You want to control these young men, which is out of order. Now, older men dealing with younger women is a natural. It's always been like that. It is unnatural for a woman to want to deal with the younger man because typically she does not respect him because she's going to be paying the bills. She's going to be arguing with him. She's going to be probably putting him through a sex or relationship. Older women typically cannot let a younger man lead them. And so what's going to end up happening is at some point when that guy becomes of age, he's going to leave that lady for somebody who's probably, in his opinion, better looking and more feminine. And he's gonna want to desire a younger woman. So where does that leave her? Dealing with a younger man? Like, you mean like Madonna? Is that what you want? You want Madonna like 60 and she's paying for everything? Is that what you want? Somebody like Erykah Badu dealing with a young guy who can't even read and write? Or is it gonna be like Keisha Cole dealing with Nico Kale? Is that what you want? Yeah, because it indicates that you can't get somebody who can take care of you because you're not competitive if you have to do that. That's what it means. You have nothing else to offer but somebody who can't fend for themselves. That's what it means. But let's get back to the lies.
In about 20 to 25 years, your average couple will be a woman in her late 30s or 40s and a guy who's late 20s, early 30s. Because everything has to come full circle.
You have no idea what you're talking about. You're going to see those older ladies, if they're dealing with somebody younger, for the most part, that younger guy is not going to be as financially successful as her. You're not going to find many women who are older than that particular man you're talking about that earn more money than him. No man, for the most part, usually makes more money as a woman and is younger, and the lady's older and he picks a lady that's older. It can happen. It is not common. What you're signifying is that these women are going to be more financially secure over these younger men and dominate them, which they're still going to be unhappy because they're not going to look at him as a man in the first place, which is also going to cause contention, and that man's going to probably leave, just like we see with the Keke Palmer, Darius Jackson dynamic. So you'll get a baby and then you'll end up being single. Again, these predictions are not based on anything. They're not based on any analyst statistics, nothing. It's based on buffoonery. It's based on chicanery. It's based on stupidity. That's what it's based on. You might as well be smoking a blunt and be making these predictions. You actually might even be more accurate. So anyways, guys, it's delusional. What do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson. Back at it again, another episode of Fair Use. I'm out.